So, the Memphis Grizzlies are currently the 4 seed in the West with a 15-11 record, and this is very impressive considering they've won 6 of their last 7 games without Ja Morant. And I think the biggest thing is the defense. In their last 7 games, the Grizzlies have a defensive rating of 93.9, which is just absolutely incredible. For reference, this season, the Warriors, who have the best defensive rating in the NBA, have a defensive rating of 99.5. So, and it's the lower the better. So this Grizzlies defense is just absolutely insane in the last 7 games. And before this run, and before Ja Morant went down, they had the worst defense in the league. So, a shift from the worst defense in the league to what would be the best defense of all time in the last 7 games, and it's no wonder that is going to help out quite a bit. So some of the reasons: good rebounding. They're number 2 in defensive rebounding, and they allow the least second chance points, so that's a pretty fundamental thing that they're good at. They force the most steals and blocks. These stats are all in the last 7 games, and they've also allowed the least amount of opponent points in the paint, only 33.7 a game in the last 7 again. So protecting the rim, forcing turnovers, and also rebounding well. These are all things that make a very good defense. They also have good defenders on the roster: Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, and of course they've also had the return of Dillon Brooks, who is also a very good defender. So, I think I was even more surprised. I was surprised that they didn't have a good defense to start out the season and that it was the worst in the league, and it looks like, they're finally fixing that. And just good rebounding, forcing turnovers, and protecting the rim has led to that. And it's definitely something they needed to do because they couldn't sustain their record with having such a bad defense. So I'm glad that they fixed it, and it's definitely a good sign. They've also had a good offense though during this run, an offensive rating of 113, which is very good. And they've led the league in offensive rebounds per game, so getting some second chance points there. They're also playing with good pace, which is one of their strengths, as they are a young team that's pretty athletic. And I think one of the main contributors to their good offense, even without Ja Morant, is Desmond Bain, who's averaging 16 points a game this season. He's shooting 40% from 3 on 6.5 attempts, and he's really become more of a scorer this year and more of a complete player. Last year, he was more of a 3-and-D guy who would spot up and hit threes and play D, and this year he's turned into someone who you can really rely on offensively, from the mid-range, coming off screens, getting downhill, going to the rim, handling the ball. He's really a lot more of a complete player this year, and they've sort of needed someone to step up when Ja was healthy, and now even more without Ja Morant. And Desmond Bain has really been helping them out on offense, and this looks like something that I do believe is sustainable. The shooting is real, and I do believe he has taken the next step in his second year where he can be a consistent 16 point per game scorer, and that's really good for the Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. is also playing well. In his last 10 games, he's averaging 20 points a game, shooting 50% from the field and 38% from 3. So that's really good. They, of course, gave him the $105 million extension in the summer, so it's good that he's been playing well. And when Ja Morant comes back, to have 2 guys like Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bain who can both play at a very solid level, and of course Dillon Brooks, who's also now coming back, they are poised to be a very good offensive team. They were a good offensive team, and they have been all season, but they could be even better. And if they can sustain this very good defense, obviously not sustaining it at their current level because it's a bit unsustainable, but being, one of the top 10 defenses in the league, through, rebounding well, through having good defenders, and through protecting the rim, I think overall the Grizzlies could be definitely making the playoffs this year and, a real threat. I still think they're quite young, but if the defense and Bain sustain and Desmond Bain playing well sustains, I definitely see them keeping, around the 4 seed, maybe a bit lower. And yeah, it's really impressive that they're playing so well without Ja Morant. Anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more NBA content.